New Orleans. Singular, resilient, rich with culture. Makes sense that a project like Dawn Riding would eventually hang its hat here. When songwriter Sarah Rose Janko started Dawn Riding, she was living in the San Francisco Bay Area. I first heard them play as a trio, one night at a little bar in Marin County. The project's been through several phases, but it's always hung on to a certain spirit, blending an old-school American warmth with a lyrical realness that cuts. The most recent Dawn Riding record might be my favorite. The stories burn, the reverbs are deep, and the vocal performances are intimate. It's called You're Still Here, and it came out on vinyl this past November as a joint release from the Long Road Society and Speakeasy Studios, two women-owned record labels from the Bay Area. If you haven't heard the album yet, there's a link to it here in the description box. Let's hear from Sarah now about her connection to New Orleans, her musical origins, and her direction going forward.
All right, Duchess, out of here. Go do your thing.
Yeah, maybe she'll go in the background.
And be, yeah.
Okay, so Sarah Janko,
Hi.
thank you for being here. Sarah Janko of Dawn Riding, who I know from the Bay Area.
Yep.
And you were telling me before we rolled camera that you've moved to New Orleans in November.
Yeah, I made the official decision end of November, but I've been here since October now, so I've been here a minute actually, surprisingly.
And you said it was a job that enabled you to make the leap to New Orleans. But it sounds like you've had a longer connection to this place and there's a lot here for you.
Yeah, I lived here for a few years in my early 20s and made some really good friends who are still here. And so I used to come back every year, sometimes twice a year to visit. And so it was easy for me to kind of plug back in, make
You
a
have an
home.
extensive connection.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
And your New Orleans times, have they influenced your music a lot?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, yeah. Let me think of how have they. I mean, I write a lot about my time here. One of the reasons is because, I'd come down and just like be on vacation and be with my close friends and have a wild time, and then I'd go home and kind of go back to my regular life and write about it. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works when this is home and I don't go somewhere else to kind of like reflect. I have not written anything since I've been here. Which is probably the longest I've gone without writing a song. I mean, honestly, maybe ever in recent memory.
When did you start writing songs?
I started writing songs when I was a teenager. I got a guitar and I always sang a lot. Like my mom's mom sang always, just like kind of absentmindedly, always singing, or she'd sing me to sleep or whatever. But yeah. And I had like this hippie folk singer teacher when I was in 4th grade who really like taught me and the rest of the class a lot of songs. His name was Bernie Griff. He was a teacher at Brookside Elementary School in Sleepy Hollow. And so I always sang those songs, and then when I got a guitar eventually when I was probably 15, I started like playing folk songs and then writing them too. I think I wrote my first song when I was 15 or 16, yeah. But I didn't perform. Like I didn't start gigging and perform. I mean, in my traveling days I would busk a little bit, but not very seriously. And I didn't really start performing until my mid-20s, I guess, actually, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And when did you start playing in groups or leading groups?
My experience has always had always been solo, and it would be more like pass a guitar kind of thing. But then when I moved to Oakland is when I first started playing with Hall and Jasmine, and we came together. I was already playing and performing as Dawn Riding and had put out a record or a CD as Dawn Riding, but then they joined me and we became like a 3-piece band, and that's my only band, my first and only band. Yeah. Well, now I have another project too, but Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonna adjust this camera ever so much.
That was probably 2000. Actually, I don't know when it was.
Okay.
2015 or something, or 16. I'm not exactly sure.
I think I remember hearing about you in those days from John Blackley,
Who's that?
who would put on shows at the No Name in Sausalito.
Oh yeah.
I think he
I
talked
played
about
there
you.
a couple times. I don't think we ever played there as a full band, but Hall and I definitely played because we were also a two-piece for a little while before we met Jasmine, who's the drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, I love No Name. That's fun.
It's
That's
got
a
vibe
fun place to play. Yeah.
So your most recent full length is The Light, which came out just about a year ago.
Yeah, we released it in the pandemic. Is that true? Or we released it in like a little, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, I guess, but we released it in a little moment of, because I think we had a live show for the release of that, but it was like it was definitely the first time I had played. Man, I don't even remember when that was now.
Okay. I was looking at the Bandcamp today. It seems like it was just about a year, like June 25th or something.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Okay. And that recording has all three of y'all playing trio. Okay.
Yeah, we recorded that before Shelter in Place, right before. And we recorded it actually at Long Road Society, is the label that put that out. And we recorded at their old headquarters, which is their house in Oakland. Jason Ciramelli recorded that, he also recorded Last Spring, which is our vinyl album. And yeah, we weren't sure if it was done really when we finished it, and we were thinking we were going to add more to it, and then eventually we were like, let's just put it out because it's good and it really captures like this time, and it's nice that it's really just like a live. I mean, it was just the three of us in the room. I think we did it all live. I don't think we might have done vocals later actually. But yeah, for the most part it was live.
Okay.
Instrumentationally.
That's great. I was listening to the first couple songs from that today, and I was loving the cover art, and I was just paying attention to all the cover art of your releases and noticing that there's a very refined vibe to all of the visual art. And I wanted to ask you about that, what inspires you visually and who you've worked with to do that and how you've had a hand in that dimension of your releases.
I do all of our design for the most part of our album art. The photo on The Light was taken by Meg Turner, who lives here in New Orleans, and actually that was a photo, it's a tintype, and she does a lot of tintype photography, and that was a photo we took just for fun. Hall and Jasmine and I came down to New Orleans also right before Shelter in Place and played a few shows, and she was doing photos at the Pharmacy Museum, and we just went and did one just for fun, just to see her and just to do it. And then we were like, oh, this is a great photo of the three of us, we should use it. Yeah, and then on Last Spring, it's a photo by Desiree Cannon, who's, who I play with also and work with in all kinds of ways. But yeah, the layouts and the lettering and stuff I do. Yeah.
It's great. It's totally got a vibe.
Oh, thank you.
And also today, before I came over, I watched the music video for Trouble, which I guess also came out in pandemic times.
No, it was older. It's older. Yeah.
Okay.
We could have never imagined at that time that this was going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great story, that one, and captures some kind of West Marin hoodoo.
Yeah,
sure.
Totally.
How did that video come to be?
That is a video we made with Lessa Millett, who's a director friend, and yeah, they were just like, do you want to make a video? And I was like, yes. And so we got together and they really walked me through the process, and we made the video. But it was definitely a community effort. That was really, really fun. The coolest thing about the video or the strangest thing, is that the bar scene was filmed at the Bordello in Oakland. Did you ever go there?
I didn't.
It was it's this building that's been kind of like a freaky art space forever, but it was kind of like a rave cave for like a long time. Like I'd gone to raves there, like, you know, in high school and stuff, and it was owned by this guy, Jack Lennon George. And so it's a bar, but it wasn't open to the public. So when we were thinking, like, where can we film this bar scene, we needed somewhere that wouldn't need to be like closed for business, because we're trying to, you know, do everything on the cheap. And we thought of him and reached out, and he was actually in the hospital, and he gave us his permission anyway. And actually the day we filmed, he passed away.
Wow.
And it was really, since then the building's been closed. We went to his memorial there, and I don't know if anything ever happened there after that.
Yes.
And I just thought it was so cool that, like, this man who had provided a space for so much underground art and music in Oakland, that even like on his deathbed was still like giving, you know, which is so
amazing.
Cool. Yeah. So I feel really blessed that we got to film there.
That definitely adds a layer of meaning.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch knowing that. Because the bar is central to the video.
Yeah. It's old.
There's the poker game and a really interesting cast of characters in there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's all just friends who just are down to clown.
You've got some vibey friends.
Yeah.
Down to clown indeed.
Yeah.
So the Long Road Society, they're all friends of yours.
Yeah, we met through music, but
Okay.
we've become close friends. Yeah, for sure.
There's the woman who's a DJ.
Lisa.
Yes, I've met her before.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Desiree Cannon is also on the label. I've seen her perform before.
Yeah, Lisa, Pizzino, Kit Center, and Mo Morgan. I can't think of his name right now. What's his last name? Oh my goodness. Can't think of Mo's last name for some reason right now, but they're the founders. And also our friend Carlos, whose last name I can't think of. Carlos has dropped off. Mo has since moved to Hawaii, still kind of involved. But Lisa and Kit are mainly holding it down at Long Road Society.
Okay.
And Desiree's an artist on the label, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how would you describe the mission of Long Road Society?
Oh, I wish one of them were here to do it justice. I'll see if I can do it justice. But basically, they're an all analog label. They're really about like vinyl and tape, and you know, their whole mission is kind of like wrapped into the name, the Long Road Society. They're like really not about shortcuts. They're really about like doing things the right way, even if it takes longer, even if it's more difficult. And they just really want to build a, you know, grassroots music community from the heart. And I think that they're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Somehow I have a sticker from them. I think they sent it to me in the mail. I might have bought a cassette from them or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like right there on my fridge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's neat that you're part of a collective like that.
Yeah, I'm
And
really lucky too.
all musicians hope that they can land with a bunch of kindred spirits on a label.
Totally. Yeah, it's
And
really, really lucky.
You said that your previous album last spring came out on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Was that also on the Long Road Society label?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was also with Long Road Society. First, we released it with them as a tape, and then we added, I think, 2 more songs and released it on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was with them. They, other than the CD that I put out on my own, I put out everything with them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Awesome.
That's been great. Yeah, and recorded with them too. Kit, who's one of the founders, he's also an engineer, and he has a recording studio at their new headquarters, which is their house. We call it HQ, but it's just their house. They're in Crockett now, and they have another satellite studio in Big Sur that I also got to go down during the pandemic and record some demos for my next record, which is going to come out in October.
Hey, wow.
I think it's going to come out in October.
Okay. That probably means you're done tracking.
Oh yeah, it's mixed, it's mastered. Yeah, it's like there's a little pressing delay, as a lot of people are experiencing. But yeah, actually one of the songs from that session, Big Sur session, made it on as is. Actually, we added a couple instruments, but yeah, the rest of it was recorded in San Francisco with Alicia Vandenheuvel, and that record's going to be a co-release with her new label, which you should watch out for in the Bay, because it's brand new. It's called Speakeasy Records.
Okay.
And it's a co-release with Speakeasy and Long Road Society.
Awesome.
So that's going to be really cool to bring, you know, these two kind of worlds together. East Bay, San Francisco, two women-owned labels. Yeah.
Right on. More releases coming down the pipeline.
Yes.
I feel like as musicians, we know that when you've finished mixing an album, there's still so much left do with releasing an album.
Yes.
And even a fair amount of creative work left to do.
The artwork kills me every time.
Because you're so involved in it?
Yeah. Each time I'm like, I'm going to let somebody else maybe do it. And then I don't.
That's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
To hand over. I guess it's the first thing people meet about your record a lot of times.
Yeah.
Whether they're browsing through a shop or the web.
That's true. This new one that's coming out, I let my friend Pete Fields I asked him to do the lettering. So that's one thing I didn't do.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually Alicia and Morgan from Long Road, and like maybe another person who I don't know. They did the layout for the insert, so I did step back a little bit this time.
That's great.
Yeah, tiny bit.
That's great. There are many hands.
Yeah.
Lightening the load.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And did you say the title of this album?
The title is You're Still Here.
Okay. Okay. And do you know maybe what types of mediums you want to put it out on?
It'll be a vinyl record.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Which is part of the delay, but worth it. Worth it.
Are you a frequenter of record shops in New Orleans?
Yeah, I haven't totally made all the rounds yet, but I'm lucky to live really close to Domino Sound. Yeah, which is great.
I was in there with a friend the other day. We were noticing a lot of cassettes. I think it was like every Angel Olsen album is available on cassette.
I didn't know
in
that.
Record store. I was like, wow. Dude.
Wow, I didn't know, one, that she did cassettes, and I didn't know that he carries Angel Olsen.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Over there in the tape shelf.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. That was a really neat shop. Well curated. I wished I was rich in there.
Best prices in town, though. But yeah.
I did visit. I'm going to go back to Euclid Records.
Euclid's also great.
Super nice. And then I went to Peaches.
Peaches I've not been to.
And I had sticker shock because most vinyl there is like $50.
Really?
For like new stuff, shrink wrapped.
Interesting.
Maybe that's a tourist thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been in there yet.
Okay.
I'll go
I won't
check
make
it
you
out.
talk trash about any record shops on the
That's
record.
high. I will say that's high.
But it does seem like people in New Orleans care about music on hard copy and about live music.
Yeah. Seems like it so far.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we've talked about what you've released up to now and what you're putting out next. Just speaking generally, what are some of your aspirations going forward as an artist, and as a member of these communities that you're a part of?
You know, that's something that's been important to think about, you know, as the world's changed so much and we've had to kind of re-examine everything. And I'm still not totally sure because I've just had so many big changes of moving cities, but I think my aspirations are pretty much the same, which is just that I just want to be able to do music all the time, or like a lot of the time. I really want to be like collaborating as much as possible with other musicians and with like different like producers that I find interesting and engineers that I find interesting, and just like I really just want to build a community of people making music. And you know, in Oakland for the last 5 years, I was lucky to be a part of this monthly event called Run with the Moon, which was started by Desiree Cannon and Long Road Society, Kit Center, Lisa. And they invited me to co-host with them. And now we also have MC Karen Less is another co-host. And but now I'm not in the Bay anymore. So, and they haven't picked back up. They're doing their events as they can. But I'm going to start, I think, which we'll see. I'm going to say this on tape and then we'll see if I actually do it. But I think I'm going to start a monthly event here, also on the full moon, because I'm very lucky to have landed somewhere with our landlord and friend is also really into music and live music. And he's a musician too. He's like a really like psychedelic banjo player. He's cool.
All right.
But we've got a little spot around the corner here where I've had a few shows now. We had like a record dance party, and I've had 2 full moon shows. Now it's getting hot, like even at night it's too hot, and I think I'm gonna do a little traveling this summer. But when I come back in the fall, I think I'm gonna start having a monthly event there, kind of focused on like songwriting mostly, but also some bands and like poets, hopefully. And yeah, I really just want to like build community and just really like be working, like productive, like, you know, doing it.
Right on. Seems like you've landed in a great place to do that, a great situation.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, I will keep an eye out for this next release coming in the fall. Excited to hear that. And just appreciate you taking some time to chat.
My pleasure.
Tell me about what you're working on. And until next time, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.